Will the police take any personal belongings during a stop and search? For example, if I was wearing a piece of jewellery that they potentially thought was stolen, might they take that from me during the stop and search?
Yes, absolutely. So if there's that's a perfect example. If they've got information about stolen jewelry and you have jewelry that matches that description, then they can take that away from you because it's subject to an investigation, or if it's allegations of like a drugs offence, so supplying drugs or something like that, they can take your phone away from you as well. But this is also if you're then arrested, it then kind of follows on. So if you're stopped and searched and they find items on you, if they find items on you that they think are stolen or weapons or things like that, then they are likely then to arrest you because there are items which seem to be connected to a criminal offence. So what will happen thereafter is they will then arrest you, take you to the police station, and at some point you should be interviewed about that. And what will happen is the police will keep hold of those items, usually until the end of that investigation. So if you do your interview, you say, no, this is my mum's, this is all a understanding, and they check that and that's all fine and it all goes away, then you should have it returned to you pretty much straight away. Unfortunately, again, the police do take quite some time with these things. So when items are taken and seized from you, they go into what's known as a property store. And most of the time, you then have to make an appointment to get that property back. So if they've investigated for a few months and then they've said no further action against you and they're not going to continue, you then need to make an appointment to get that with one of the officers. Which is rather frustrating because I have lots of people that just turn up at the police station, but most of the time they don't get any help. So a lot of the time it's not actually worth your time doing that. You end up wasting your time, unfortunately. With phones and things like that, particularly in those sorts of cases, for example, drugs cases, the kind of most common one, because they will look at your phone and where it is, and if it matches up to other certain bits of evidence, phones often will not be returned until the end of the investigation. There are occasions where you can try to get them in the interim. So if you've provided your PIN, and they've downloaded it, you can ask for the handset back. But again, officers sometimes make promises that, oh, if you give us your PIN, we'll download it and we can give it back to you in a few weeks. And I've had those promises, and then months and months and months later, we're still waiting and we're still asking to get the phone back. So yeah, whilst it's subject to an investigation, most of the time you can't get the property back.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we've had quite a few accounts from community members where sort of an item has been taken and it's been, sort of up to a year until they've received that item back. So it is something you hear quite a lot of. But yeah, good to be aware.